Hey, it's me again. We're Slayer. What is this? This is part 5. 5. Yep, I believe. To what if Bell was artorais, and where I left off is he just had the brother with Wealth Crozo. And where I'm gonna start off at is, if some of you may want to know, so I'm just gonna put in here, how did he get the feral fangs? Or his marauders? Or the marauding wolves, or something along those lines. Tell me if you think of any cool names for his little company. We can use them if you want. And how it went is, he goes home. He has the rest of the day. It's a nice day. They all go around. He takes the sword with him and swings it a couple of times and practices. But the rest of the day is just generally happy stuff. They go on and, well, they just do things throughout the day. They all celebrate. He gives his thanks to Festus, Wealth. He even meets Lily while she's there. She's like, "Oh, hey, Belle, what did you do?" "I got attacked by a giant gorilla. Well, giant werewolf." She's like, "Oh. Anything else?" "I also got a cool new sword." She's like, "Wow, that is cool." Now, as they're all traveling together in one big group, there is a group of people that Lily, oh, know what? Scratch that. I said before that she wasn't in trouble with her familia. Forgive me, I must scratch that. Otherwise, I really can't develop a deep enough bond like they have in the anime. So, as I continue, what happens is a group of, I guess, Soma familia thugs come up and they're trying to bully her and everything, but Bell steps in and cuts that stuff off immediately. He's like, "Cut it out." As he says that, the three thugs, they're like, "What? She's part of our familia. What are you gonna do?" "My good self-defense you all to death." They're like, "Self-defense? Are you making a threat of us?" One of them pulls their dagger and jolts it at him. He grabs the dagger and crushes it, "You are saying," and just drops it on the ground. As I continue forward, that's my body rejecting. I keep on saying that. As they continue, they all get to Mamma Mia's and they're like, "Hey, I heard you save Sia, so know what? Dinner's on the house. Dinner's half price." It's like, "Sweet, all you eat." As he does that, he just helps them all up into chairs because they're all small. And they all start talking, and a nerd guy goes "Sir?" And a bunch of more men come "Sir, sir, sir, sir." He's like, "Men, men, 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 men." And no one's like, "Hey, I remember the day you first got the marauding wolves." He's like, "Ah, that was a good day, but a lot of men lost. Carry on, soldier." He pats him on the shoulder. Good luck, packmate." As he says that, they're all like, "How did you get the marauding wolves, or the feral fangs, as we keep on hearing them called? Do you really want to know the story?" They're like, "Yeah, tell us." This will also be the time when he's getting separated from Boreas, because it's not really good to have two companies of the best fighters in only one area. So as I go forward, I'll say this is a big battle that's coming up. What happened is that the enemy, that Bell and his allied forces, or the forces he's with, are making a massive assault on a massive castle, a massive city. As they go forward, they got the siege engines and everything. They start doing, it's during the day. And what happens is, battle goes well, very well, until the second part, when the Blackguard comes out. You're gonna see a theme here, is that the Blackguard are similar to the, if you don't know Destiny, forgive me, but in the Destiny they have the Sand Eaters and Dust Giants. The Sand Eaters are the bulk of the army, but the Sand Eaters are sent in to reinforce a position. It's how the Blackguard is gonna be. So as that's happening, Bell manages, the commanders that Bell was with, he was sort of split up because they're like, it would be smart to split up like some of our good fighters, just in case some blackguard show up, especially Sir Artorias. He's been known to take down quite a few of them, even if they're adventurers. Level 2, like level 1 and 2 are the only ones he can really fight. I'm saying he's getting a nickname instead of the Wolf Knight. He's called Fenrir's Wrath. If you don't know who Fenrir is, and I believe so, it is one of the children of Loki in Norse mythology, in that it's a giant wolf. So you can see why. He fights like a wolf, his best friend's a wolf, he can talk to wolves, and etc. So as they speak, they sort of like, it's like, Fenrir's Wrath, he is here. As they hear that, well, trying to readjust, as they hear that, the Blackguard immediately goes forward. They aren't just going to be reinforcing, they are literally the main force on this front. Because the Blackguard has taken an issue with Bell because of how many Blackguard he's actually killed. I'll say it's quite a lot, like triple digits. Like I said, quite a portion of the enemy's people have become mercenaries. And this is like year 1 into the war, so it isn't like, oh, it's like he's gotten a battle in a short amount of time. So this is like over the period of like a year and a half. As they continue forward, they're like, you're one of the ones on our hit list. Come on, lads, get them. As they're charging forward, Bell and Fenrir leap into action with like a few, and after that they start getting pushed back. Not that they're not hard to kill, it's just that the men are starting to get pushed back. And if Bell's encircled, him and Sif are encircled, they could possibly survive, but they'd rather not take any chances. So they're like falling back consciously until the knights have literally just been like torn apart by like two, like one was literally torn apart and the other one was like cut in half and like thrown at the enemy. As they see that, they're like, we can't win. Bell's like, shut up, we can win, drive them back. There's Blackguard, and they're the Blackguard. So what? We are Fenrir's Wrath. As he says that, like a bunch of men get motivated, like, for Fenrir's Wrath, for Artorias. And all of them just go charging up the hill. I'll say this is an uphill battle, quite literally. And as they're rushing forward, Bell's tearing through men. The men have somewhat entered a frenzy. Now, if I remember correctly, people can possess magic outside of Ortario or Orantio or some other. The name's kind of confusing to me. But as I continue saying, Bell just essentially chanted a spell. He's like similar to like a motivational speaker, is that his words have power. It's like he can, like, that's why a lot of men like rally up and like jump up and are prepared to fight, even when they're like, before they were just completely hopeless. It's charismatic, and well, he's just generally like confident. They're like, we can win this with Fenrir's Wrath. And I'll say even like one point they actually, at one point, people thought that Sif was Fenrir. They're like, Fenrir? Why is Fenrir? Then they like took a closer look and they just realized it's a wolf. So if I remember correctly, Fenrir is depicted as a black giant wolf. Sif is a wolf, but he isn't giant or black like Fenrir. And as I continue, they literally rush forward and tear through the lines like actual wolves in a frenzy. This side is like crumbling faster than all the other sides. They're like, we've been broken, run, retreat. Bell's like telling this, and then we kept pushing forward. going house by house, taking down and killing the Black God. They're like, he's not like putting it as gruesome as this, but you know what I mean. As I digress, he ends up meeting and like is able to start like, since he's inside the castle, these men are in a frenzy. They're just going bit by bit, just like killing, so going up all the way, clearing every spot. Even at one point, Sir Boreas's line is finally starting to be pushed back once a majority of, quite a bit of the forces were concentrated and reinforced by the Blackguard. They start like, Fenrir's wrath, Sir Artorais, they're coming, run! As they see this, they like look over and they just see Bell, Sif, and like a crate and like a bunch of guys just running behind him like. This is where I say the howling comes in, is that people tend to howl after they hear him give the motivational speech. He's like, they're like, why are they howling? I don't know. And they just get cut down. They've taken the city. And since like a few commanders were lost and Lord Hark was there, he literally says, Bell, Sir Artorais, seems we lost quite a few commanders. We have the forces to make a new one, but I need a new commander. You are it. He's like, are you sure, Lord Hawk? I am sure. You're one of the most capable warriors here, and I've seen you command. My men say you rallied your men behind you and essentially took the city by yourself. A bit of an overstatement, my lord, but I did rally the men. We were about to break. We falled back, we would have lost the entire siege. Very well. You're the commander. You'll be given 700 men. Am I understood? Well, I'll say the remaining companies will be absorbed into his thing, and whoever's remaining, they try to keep it even, like 500 to like 600. So whoever's remaining is sent off to like different companies to fill in for the losses. And as he says this, he's like, yes, my lord. Boreas. And he's like, you have new set of orders, Artorais. The lines over here are crumbling. Reinforce them. Yes, sir. As they say that, Bell and his newly formed, you'll also need to make a banner. This is where he's like, we will have some people make you one. If you wish, go tell them to design. You sort of goes there. They're like, oh yes, you are the new commander? Yes, we'll have your banners done in, how many men do you have? I believe I'm supposed to receive 500. Yes, we'll have 50 flags. No, every 100 flags. He's like, really? He's like, yes. We try to keep your men motivated. Or 25 flags for every 50 people. 25 times 5. No. Yes? No. Oh, sorry. God, this is confusing sometimes. Wait, 25 flags, 500? Just forget it. Forget the numbers. As I said, they'll give him 25 flags. One for his standard, which is the main thing, and then 25 smaller flags for men to carry on lances and such. As he says this, they're outfitted and their colors are somewhat changed. So how it is that the men have colors to signify what command they're under. All these men they have their blue taken away and their crest taken off. They're like, makes sense. And they all, some of them try to resist, but are convinced that he saved our lives and saved the siege. We all probably could have died if not for Sir Artorais. And as they, hear this, they, take the thing off, and they're, blue cloths and the wolf sword in mouth and shield on back. A lot of people say, this is awesome. As they, get on their horses and they go, we must reinforce the line here. Understood. And they're like, yes, sir. Come now. We rise. And they ride off, like, after saying his final goodbyes to Sir Boreas, and, like, having a last talk with Lord Harks about his mission. And after that, my lord, what are we to do? You are to hold those positions at all cost. It's like, yes, my lord. As they say that, Bell sets himself up and just ready. After they, like, go on a long, not perilous, but annoying journey. And also they pick up some troops along the way. They're like, hey, we heard you we were hoping, are you part of the military of Lord Hawks? Yes, we are. Why? It's like, well, we were thinking about joining, but we never got any recruiters sent to our town. We only heard about it recently, and this is our home, and we're willing to defend it. It's like, very well. Get into line. We'll have some men, like, get you sorted out. Understood. And I'll say this is like an additional 100 people, just so you can get that 100 people. It's like, why are there 100 of you? Our village was quite big, sir. There was plenty of young men and older guys willing to take the fight to the enemy. He's like, very well, but you must know our missions will be most likely very dangerous. They're like, we understand, sir. We will not disappoint. As he says that, this was like one of the guys who like followed Sir Artorais and eventually made it into his pack. As he said, and that's what happened. That's where he's from, at least. How did reinforcing that line go? It went as well as you expect. As soon as we got there, it was barely even a line. There was less than 100 troops holding back 400. But as soon as we got there, we were able to reinforce. We essentially took back the battlements and the trenches. I don't know if trenches were a thing, actually. We just took up their positions and kept fighting. We eventually drove them off our thing and reinforced the entire line. It's pretty good for a while until they sent a massive, 1,500 on. I know the numbers are quite big, but it makes sense. We held the line for a decently long time, till we were called elsewhere. We had to leave around 200 troops and a commander. And he says that, and they're like, yeah, we understand. But it's like, that's how it went. A couple months later, the line fell. The Blackguard was sent in, as of course. Then he, expresses his deep-seated hatred of the Blackguard. Because a lot of his friends have died to it, because a lot of the engagements he has been in have revolved around with the Blackguard in, some position of power, of commanding, since they have much more experience. They're an experienced mercenary company known for being ruthless, taking on any job, really. And not just, how there'll be, one company of Blackguard mercenaries. This was essentially the entire, what I will call, Legion. The entire Legion of the Blackguard were called in and paid. And this one, they're expensive. So these lords got what they paid for. And that's where a large majority of the losses come from, is that people who weren't able to go toe-to-toe with the Blackguard's adventurers, mercenary captains, and all that came from is that they were just completely outmatched. And he explains this, and he's like, yeah, calm down, Belle. As he says that, they, just keep eating and drinking, and they're like, it's time to go home. And he, talks to Lily, he's like, if there's a problem, let me know. I'm your friend. And the others seem to like you as well. She's like, thank you. Here, take this crystal. If you ever need me, I'll come. As he says that, they sort of go on. And she's talks to him about how those men, have been, forcing her to pay money because she's been trying to get out of the Familia. I believe so, is how it is that she can, that's what she's working towards, is of getting out of the Familia. But I digress. And they sort of cut to the future of, after a while, these, people are just harassing Lily. And then they eventually try to go after Belle's Familia. Whew, they did not know who they were messing with. They're like, weren't you the one who killed 3 of our mercenaries? What were they part of? The Black Guard. It's like, ah, yes, and you're Sir Artorias, or Fenrir's Wrath. You apparently gained a lot of names in that little war. But those means nothing here. Nothing but folktale and memories. As he says that, I'll say the Amazonian twins, I forget their names. Sorry. But apparently they've heard about this and like approached Bell. Because I'll say some stories were written about him. Because Bell didn't just like sit on his butt for like those, let's see, 4 or 2 years? No, wait. He's 21 by the end of the war. He was 18 when the war started. So, and I say he's 25 now. He didn't just sit on his butt for those 2 years. You see, he actually did, like, help people quite a bit about dealing with bandits. Even took on some rogue adventurers who were, like, level 1 or 2. And as they continue forward, they pick a fight. They go and try to kill him. He, like, runs them off, and they're like, you'll regret this. We'll get you one day. And as this happens, I'll say they do set the trap and everything for Lily, but she has the crystal. So she calls him. He's like, what's the problem? He's like, I've been attacked in the floor. 10. As she's saying that, she's like, he's injured, and he takes Joan and Valerie into the dungeon, and as well as Wilf, and take them into a dungeon. Lily needs our help. Why, she's part of the Soma Familia, the thugs. As he's saying this, he's like, she may be hurt. Come. And as they get down there, she's like, hey guys. Oh. And as they say that, he's like, what is wrong? And then they get rushed by a bunch of ants and goblins and wolves. He's like, oh, you take up arms. We are being attacked. As they turn around, they see all the ants, and they just start slicing through. They just cut through them like butter, essentially. Like, Bell's skills are very high, because I'll say he has veteran. Yep, veteran. He's experienced hardships unbelievable. Because an adventurer maybe do all these things, but for a normal man to do the things he do, no. And that's how it works, is that you must keep working and like face more and more difficult challenges to like level up, essentially. And as that continues forward, they eventually like went out, and Lily goes like, and like grabs onto him saying, thank you. They're like, yeah, we got you. Artorias or Belle just pick her up and just walk out, like give her bandages, and they just like have her stay at their church for a while. And now I continue forward. I'll say it's been long enough to where they all got known each other, good chemistry and all that. And I'll say that Hestia during this time has gotten Belle his hero name. If you don't know, what they do is that once a thing reaches level 2, like every certain time of, like, I'll say like a month has passed. Well, not a month, but a few weeks. And now they've, like, thought it, like, assembled to, like, try and get each other, like, children who have leveled up a nickname. Now, I've been thinking, and all of them say, well, he already has plenty of nicknames, don't he? Yeah, the Wolf Knight, Fenrir's Wrath. He's like, why don't we just choose one of them? He's like, yeah, I agree. So they're all there discussing, and I say it's a thing, like, split down the middle of which people prefer. Hestia is, like, the final decision on this. So she, like, sort of wasted, like, the Wolf Knight or Fenrir's Wrath. So she keeps weighing it, and eventually it just clicks on here, Fenrir's Night. And as everyone thinks about this Fenrir's Night, actually some of them start to like it. They're like, yeah, it's got a nice ring to it. It rolls right off the tongue. Fenrir's Night. Better than Fenrir's Wrath. Think about it. And they all think this and they're like, yeah, I like it. Like, she tells them about their name. It's late at night. They're like, time for bed. As they sleep, Bell has a dream. Not a memory, a dream. He's dreaming and just like... Sif and him are sort of connected. They see each other. They're like, what? Bell's in his armor and Sif is in his armor. They're like, huh? What is this? Then, if you don't know this, I'm not sure, but I haven't really refreshed my memory on Norse mythology. Fenrir, I'll say, is able to talk. It takes the shape of an anthropomorphic wolf, so furry. As he says this, they're like, who are you? And it just says telepathically, or just speaks like, I am Fenrir. And apparently, people have taken you to call me you my wrath, or my knight. I don't know if Fenrir is a guy or girl, but I'm just going to change it to a woman. And as I go forward, they speak. It's like, why are you contacting me? People, I've come to like you, Bel Cornell, or Sir Artorais. I'll say, in the Norse mythology, I believe it's supposed to be a vicious monster, but in this, she's more nice. But since of the wolf persona and such, aside being seen from noble creatures and independent, they see them as beast, and that's why Bel's sort of seen as a savage, feral fighter. Is that how people have portrayed him as? When in truth, he's very calculating, but he can go somewhat feral mode, in a sense he adds feral wild slashing to his technique sometimes. And you're like, come, I wish to bestow a blessing upon you, both of you. And as they say that, they sort of just go to her and take a knee. They both Bell has his sword. He's like, why do we have our weapons and armors on? It's like, you feel most comfortable in those. Indeed, I do. Sif, you feel comfortable in that? He's like, well, you did wear those for years, so I can see why. And as they kneel, they're kneeling before her. She places a hand on Bell's head and I bestow upon you Fenrir's blessing. And it's a magic ability. And Finn and Sif, she sort of places a kiss and a hand on his snout, for you, I give you Fenrir's vitality. Fenrir was tough, went toe to toe with gods. So Sif, tough, toe to toe with gods. Not all gods, but I'll say he's just very tough now. You will be able to draw out your true beast. Your durability, vitality, endurance, all these will increase. May them serve you well. They're like, thank you, Lady Fenris. Not Fenrir. Lady Fenrir. As they get done kneeling, they wake up the he talks over to Sif. He's like, that wasn't just me, right? It's like, woo, 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 woo. As they say this, alright, it isn't just me. I wasn't crazy. They get up and they're like, actually, I'm gonna go see Hestia real quick. Should be up. As he says that, he's like, hey, Hestia, you here? She's like, yeah, I'm here. You think we could update my status? It's been a while, hasn't it? Yeah, it has. So they, check it out. She, sees... Oh, if I didn't also mistake, she also gave him blessing of defense. like sort of like a miracle. It doesn't make sense, but please go along with it. I need it. Like the wolf's blood. She's like, wolf's blood. And such. You'll understand later. And as I say this, like, whoa, you've gotten quite a few skills. Can you tell me what they are? Also, your abilities and attributes have gone to S. Again, I don't know how. Maybe it's because I got, like, my arm being out. You forget sometimes how difficult it may be without your armor. Like, indeed. But as she says, so you got wolf's blood, meaning you're tougher, stronger, faster, smarter. And for the other thing, you can use this for blood, like some sort of blood thing. Doesn't really say, like, wolf's fury and protection. And she does the same, and it's like, and this is just straight up Fenrir's vitality. Alright, did you guys get a visit from Fenrir or something? I don't know. I had a dream though. She's like, yeah. She trying to take you guys from me? I'm pretty sure she isn't a god. You're right. So this will be the day they all, like, sort of go deep down to, like, try to get to floor 18. As they're going down further, they're all ready. Joan, Valerie, Lily, Welf, Sif, and Belle. They all get down, and they sort of, like, Hestia walks with them, like, to, like, see them off, because she has faith in Belle and Sif in them, that they'll all be fine, but she just, like, wants to make sure. Joan and Valerie are also level 2. They've been there for, like, since they're doing Belle's training and they're taking on tougher challenges because of he has inspired them, they've gone to level 2. So they both can't handle him at once. Like, the only ones who like, stand a chance against, who, like, can go toe to toe with him are people from Freya's familia, as well as the Amazonian sisters and Ainz Wallenstein. And Sif, not really. Sif is, like, still a level 1, but reasons. As I continue forward, they go to the dungeon. They say hi to Mikado, and a few of them are like, a few of the adventurers, like, Fenrir's Night. They all, like, nod him. He's like, soldier, 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 soldier. They're like, sir, 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 sir. And as they go forward, they go down to the middle floors. Now, this is where it's going to get confusing. They do their thing. They, like, slowly just start cutting through. And with the numbers, they aren't having that much difficult of a number thing. But then they send in Minotaurs. Yeah, Minotaurs. They go forward and just start smashing and cutting into them. Sif has taken on a few of them now. He's, like, going toe to toe with them. Belle's, like, keeping a majority of, like, the little artorais or bell rabbits that they were referred to as in the show. Wolf and Lily are having the same thing. They're just cutting through until they get past paraded. Now they have easily, like, over 100 monsters bearing down on them. This is when they retreat. They're like, oh, dang it, well, are you? Retreat! And Joan and Valerie have gotten injured. They're all wearing the Salamander's coat, including Sif. And Belle has actually taken the black cloak. And this was pretty big and just draped it over himself. Not to the point it's, like, encumbersome, but to the point that it actually is flame-proof, like Salamander's wool. And he, like, uses it to cover himself, because fire bad. And he cuts through the wolves. They're like, oh. He's like, I didn't want to do this. You forced my hand. And now they're retreating. They're constantly keep on getting pushed back. Belle and Sif, if they want to, they could tear through and that would be easily done. But now they're having to stay back and defend like the group that has weakened. And they keep on fighting and slicing and cutting. Bell at one point they keep going, running. Then they get attacked by like 10 Minotaurs, and Bell rushes forward and slices through a couple of them, defends with his shield, and cuts off a few of their heads. And they come up with the same plan they did in the anime, is that they will use the things and keep jumping down through the levels. They use holes. And they finally get to the thing, but they all discuss like, what about Goliath? He should be done. He shouldn't be done yet. And as they're running, they continuously run. And as they like get there, as they get into the boss room, the thing shuts. But there isn't ice or anything, it's just like dark. They run forward and just run. And they end up like they all get there, but then they all like get down the little chute to floor 18. But then Bell is like grabbed and slammed and thrown into a wall like, oh. Sif charges forward and like tries to get out whatever happens and just gets thrown along there too. It uses darkness, but Bell and Sif are managed to like get lights on somehow, like they had spare items. What they see in front of them is a hulking monster of darkness, and they're like, what are you? And it's just like, I am death. Like, your death. And just roars and charges. And it's like, Sif, let's go. And they duel. Just keep slashing and smashing. Bell eventually gets hit so hard. It doesn't matter he has a shield. His armor is broken. Again, it's like limp, and Bell like manages to like get back. Sif and him get close to the wall, and he manages to just open up for a split second and throw his shield forward, and Sif jumps in, and he's like, go, no. They all get in, he's like, oh. They're like, Bell, this darkness can be seen through, so, Eyes and, like, his gang, they're all, like, rushed up and see what's happening. They see Bell, and he's like, his sword's in the ground, he's like, barely standing. This thing's a monumental task for him to take on. He's like, it's like, you will be mine, a puppet for darkness. Freya's like trying to figure out what the heck, because in the thing, she's trying to obtain Bell. She's very obsessive, like Apollo. And as she's like trying to figure out what to do, Bell starts chanting. Like, he activates his wolf's blood. He like gets his messed up hand. He's like, I guess, able to like get it back to like somewhat not healed. Well, I guess healed a kind bit because of the wolf's blood, and just like slices his hand on, like drenches it in his blood. He's like, wolf's blood. And starts praying in a way to Fenrir. He's like, Fenrir, the god, the wolf, I ask you for your strength, and that you use my wolf's blood, and grant me strength to trample this foe and maul him. It's like looking at him like all confused, but then just starts seeing what seems to be like I'm making Fenrir out to be good in this, but I don't really think it is in the actual mythology. It's like a nice white, like a whitish, blackish wolf that appears behind Bell. It's like, ooh. Everyone sees this, and like he like looks up and he's like, I ask you, Fenrir, grant me your strength. And it's like a final like charge, and it's just like the wolf goes into Bell and he like charges with like moonlight. There's and he like stands up, and he's like much taller in this, and he's like, Fenrir, thank you for this blessing. And Manus shoots darkness just like charges up and shoots tons of darts. It's like he gets his hand and like throws blood in front of him. And it's like, protection of Fenrir. And as that happens, it just, the light, the holy, I guess holy-ish barrier blocks and just destroys all the light. Man, it's just like, oh, no, no. As it says this, it's like backing away. It starts summoning copies of Bel's like past people. This is something that will come in handy later. Possibly, maybe, I don't know. And then as it summons its last thing, as Bell cuts through it all, he sees his master. He's like, look at you. It tries to like play on his emotions, but Bell just cuts through it. These are illusions. They are gone. But I'm still here. You will pay for defouling their memory. And as Manus realizes none of his tricks is working, so he's like, then you will die. As it charges forward, one cinematic thing, Bell charges one-handed and slices through Manus's hand. Manus's hand. And it goes flying and then flops. It's like, you will bury. And just uses darkness to start slashing and somewhat create a blade out of where the hand was. Nope, I don't believe he has these abilities. Just go with it. It just starts dueling. Bell manages to get close and cuts off its leg. And just slices, and then cuts off his arm. It turns to punch him with his other thing. Bell gets his sword and sort of pushes with it, like grab one hand on the thing and then like using his shoulder as another, and just like slams it down, cutting the arm like straight down, like between the fingers, straight down the arm. It's like freaking out, trying to heal itself. It's like, you'll die. I place curse upon you. It's like, I bear curses every day, Doc Bean. And then like races up and then slams it down, and it's like, and then just like goes limp and just back into the little pixels of darkness it goes. He reaches down. This is a big stone, very big stone, like as big as like his headstone. And he sort of like starts like, the adrenaline's like, ugh. He was taking serious punches, like, broke several ribs, and, like, as the darkness sort of fades away for, like, the barriers come down, Ainz and her familia will run over, they're like, are you okay, man? And as he's about to say something, he's like, I'm... coughs up a mountain, like a pool of blood, and just, like, starts slowly falling, and then just, like, stops himself. He's like, ugh. My party. What party? What happened? Are they okay? Yes, our healers are seeing to them, but we must focus on you. As they see him, his armor is rend. His, like, shoulder guards, like, his left arm, shoulder, he's like, my shield. Your shield's still fine. It's cracked a bit, but we can fix that. As they're like, good. And he just, like, falls over, like, oh. And as I continue forward, they all just sort of pick him up. Like, a couple of guys have to pick up his sword, because it's... For him, it's light. For other people, it's kind of heavy. Just leave it at that. And I believe it's Tion and another, like, Tion and Nala, or Nana, or something other. Tion, I believe, is one of the Amazonia sisters' name. Like, whoa! That was awesome. And as I continue forward, they're like, yeah, I did not know level 2 can... And Eyes is like, they ask Eyes, do you think you could have done that? And she's like, I'm pretty sure I would have died if I tried to fight that. And I killed a floor boss, so let's not even go there. As they say this, they're like, dang, how strong is this guy? They're like, he is Fenrir's Night. Didn't you guys see that? They're like, what? Fenrir was like, I think I saw Fenrir or something other behind him. I think he actually is blessed by Fenrir or something. And as they say that, they're like, yeah, he was chanting something like, something about his wolf's blood, or his wolf's blood. and etc. and chanting about Fenrir, give me your blessing and such. They all wake up like, ugh. Bell is like unconscious still. Sif is just like right beside him, like he's like, he wakes up. What happened? You attacked by some creature of darkness. And I should probably end this soon, so as they all get going, Tio and the Amazonian sisters actually talked to him about how they actually heard stories about him when they were younger. What? How old are you? Oh, I'm like 7. He's like, I was like 7 when I heard these. How old are you now is my question. I'm like 16. He's like 7, 9. Okay, it wasn't 7, but you get my point. They're like double digits at the very least. Like before they got there. And as they speak, they're like, yeah, we heard that you were actually a very good person and a very ferocious fighter. Tion's like, yeah, my sister had a crush on you when she was younger, and how she's like, shut up, shut. And then how she said she would marry you if she ever finds you. He's like, I am flattered, but no need to embarrass your sister. Anyways, thanks for watching. He like expresses his happiness and his gratefulness for what they're doing for them, and they go on. And this will be, I'll have to end it here because I gotta go use the bathroom. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you all have a nice night.